Hello, my name is Nat Fritz, and today I'll be telling you the story of The Lady and the Tiger. This story was written by Frank R. Stockton in 1882 and has been one of my favorites since I was a child, so I hope you enjoy the story of The Lady and the Tiger. Once upon a time, in a land far, far away, there lived a half-mad king. This king enjoyed finding unconventional solutions to problems that faced his kingdom. One of these problems was the justice system. He thought to himself the best way to determine if someone was truly guilty or innocent was to let fate itself decide. Thus, he built an amphitheater in the center of the kingdom, where anyone could come and watch the trials. The king himself had his own private box, and on the day of the trials, a prisoner would enter the pit beneath the amphitheater and would walk across to one of the two doors that sat opposite the king's box. One of these doors would hold a ferocious and hungry tiger that would devour the prisoner the moment they opened the door. It was determined that this meant the prisoner must have been guilty. The second door would hold a very beautiful woman. The moment he opened this door, the prisoner would be married to the woman instantly. It didn't matter if he was married before or even had a family. They were married, but it was determined that the prisoner must have been innocent because fate decided that he should live. Well, the king had a daughter, and this daughter was a very rebellious girl who fell in love with one of the castle's servants. It didn't matter to her that he didn't fit her social standing. She loved him, and that was that. They were very good at hiding their romance from the king until they weren't, and he caught them in the garden one day. He was so furious that this boy would dare to date his daughter that he threw him in prison immediately. You can imagine what came next, and the king readied himself for this new trial, very excited to see how his problem would be taken care of. Either the boy would be devoured by the tiger and his problem would be solved, or the boy would be married off and his problem would be solved. Either way, he wasn't going back to his daughter anytime soon. The princess, however, was heartbroken, knowing the two fates that stood before the boy she loved. She determined that she would find out everything she could about the trial. Usually, only the king knew what lay behind each door. This time, however, the princess was determined that she would know as well. She spied and snooped and eventually figured out what would be behind each door. On the day of the trial, she went with her father and sat in his box beside him. When the doors of the amphitheater opened up, the boy walked in and a gasp fell over the crowd, for they didn't know that a boy this handsome had ever lived in their kingdom. The boy walked into the center of the amphitheater and glanced up at the crowd, his eyes catching the princess, the girl he loved, sitting in the box beside her father. He looked up at her and silently asked the question, "Which door?" No one in the amphitheater knew that he had asked, but the princess, who was also looking his direction, knew exactly what he was wondering. She glanced around and she had to come to a decision. He was asking her which door he should open, and it was up to her to decide. Should she send him to his death, allowing him to open the door with the tiger, or would she watch as he married someone else and was separated from her forever, knowing he was out there somewhere, but married to someone else, had a family perhaps with someone else, and she would never see him again? Would it be better to send him to the tiger or to watch him marry the girl? She looked away from him and cautiously raised her right hand just enough that no one else would see but him. He would know what it meant. So he nodded to her, turned around, and opened the right door. That is the end of the story. Stockton wanted to let you decide for yourself. Would the princess have led him to his death, or would she have led him to the lady. What was behind the right door? And what would the princess have done? I hope you enjoyed this story. Thank you very much for your time, and I hope you have a great day.